I know you're interested in longevity. What do you do to try to live longer?
I deeply believe that over the next 20 years plus minus, we're gonna slow down, halt, and ultimately actually reverse aging. And that's gonna happen. Why? Because we have already, and David is a very good friend, working with him, we have already understood what aging is. It's a complex disease. It's not just one disease. Like another colleague of mine, Manuel Serrano, coined this term, like there is these 9 hallmarks of aging. These are nine thematic things which go practically wrong. But like I think humanity has one great track record. Always when we have realized and understood a problem, someone we're going to solve it. And I'm going to think this someone going to happen in the next 20 years. So what I'm solving for with my nutrition plan is that I'm not dying the next 20 years, because I do think dying in the next 20 years is the most stupid time to die. And it sounds actually but like I'm 43 now, so I'm most likely statistically I'm here in 20 years, but it's not 100% given. If I would talk to my 10-year-old godson, he doesn't need to worry. He's gonna be there anyway, unless he has an accident. But like with 43, there is sort of a risk that whatever. Actually, there's 2 risks. There's if I don't have cancer in the next 20 years, and if I don't have a cardiovascular disease, and if I don't have an accident, but these 3 things, then very, very likely I'm going to be here. So my whole diet and intake of therapeutics, is focused on not getting cancer, not getting a cardiovascular disease, being here in 20 years roundabout when the real stuff sort of comes, because then I think the game is on. Because like people always think like, oh, when somebody says, and I deeply believe that we can live for some 100 years, and I do think we here in the room will live or have the opportunity to live for some 100 years, it's not going to happen from one day to the other. There won't be one magic pill where we say, okay, now we take it and now we live till 300 years, but it's going to be a gradual shift. And there is this famous thing, like one day we're going to win more years per year than the 1 year we lose. And that's then sort of the point when sort of optionality is on. And by the way, also, I do believe we don't want to live forever, because people, interestingly, I just want to mention it, maybe not in this sort of crowd, but like I actually was on holiday with friends and one said like, oh no, like this is sort of not right. And I was like, hey, I do think we don't want to live forever. Forever is really long term. But I think it's the ultimate liberation for humanity. And sort of it fills in my libertarian views that you decide yourself when you want to end this. So
You think people are going to do that?
Yes. I mean, I'm very sure.
You think people are going to have the ability to live forever, and one day they're like, man, pull the plug.
Well, forever it's never going to happen, because somewhere the earth is going to end. Like, there is always an accident risk, and if you play it out long enough, statistically, you're going to have an accident.
No, this is what people came here to listen to. So here's I got a couple questions. If you survive for the next 20 years, right, you're kind of in your early 40s, you'd be early 60s. At that point, we've really started to kind of hit the exponential growth of we're gaining more years than we are losing on a 12-month period. How far can we go? If, let's say, we're at 80 on average right now globally for average life expectancy, can we get it to 100 in the next 20 years? Can we get it to 200? Like, just how much can we extend life in the next 20 years?
Well, in the next 20 years, I think we're going to go over 100. I think there's 3 sort of steps we need to take.
That's a big jump.
So we did the math, like what would happen if we solve cancer? And interestingly, statistically, this would add, I think the number we came up with was around about 3 years just. Because people think, oh, we solve cancer, we're going to live 10 years longer. But then something else hits you. That's actually the fickle thing with aging. If you solve one thing, you're going to have a stroke. Or you're going to have So you need to solve, these 9 hallmarks of aging. You need to solve many problems at once, but I think it's solvable. So then the one question we're going to encounter, which nobody has the real answer, we have a hunch, is that, is there a natural limit? So my view is like, let's just test it out. Like I'm happy if we go towards 100, because there are some scientists who think like, okay, there might be like sort of kind of a natural limit of 100, 110. And when you reach that, even if you don't, till 100, or at the moment, till these 80 years or whatever, people normally die of something. They don't die of exhaustion, they die of cancer, whatever. So let's assume we can eliminate all of that. So then there is one theory to be tested. Do we die of sort of exhaustion, like a car which just doesn't run anymore without having one single thing? If that's the case, okay, at least we gain 30 more years. But I think that's my view on everything in life. Why not try? Like, I'm an uber optimist. And if people laugh at me or laugh about me in 50 years and say, okay, there was this dreamer who thought we can add hundreds of years and he added with his work 10 years, I'm like, well, that's fucking amazing. I added 10 years to humanity's lifespan. Like, so let's gradually work on that. So then the second big question is, do we stay a body-based species, or can we somewhere change that? So
what does that mean?
Well, there is one idea. So there's two ideas how you can look at longevity. The one is like, we're gonna repair the body we have, or even prevent it somewhere from aging, because we completely control, with whatever CRISPR. I mean, we have so many new intervention mechanism in sort of life, that there is the possibility that we kind of control our body and our mind in a way, or control, like keep it functioning, that we're gonna be a body-based species, and are happy with it because we can repair the body all the time, replace stuff, whatever. And by the way, so then you have the other extreme view. Can we someone get rid of our body, just take what is actually defining what is Pomp, what is Christian, like our mind, whatever that then means, and our soul, and upload that into a computer or any other structure. So get rid actually of the body, which is the part which is aging and decaying, And then there is the opportunity, the possibility in between, which is, I think, where it's going, that you sort of merge with technology, which, by the way, we do already now. If you have what's the English term? If you have a pacemaker, you are a mini cyborg. We're just very used to a pacemaker. You have other
people have replacement hips. They
exactly.
Have
so
stuff,
so just think that 50 years ahead, maybe we just replace whole body parts with technology, but still stay kind of in this world. But the value of my next 20 years is incredibly more higher than it was for the same person 100 years ago, because there it was just 20 years. If I do a mistake in the next 20 years, I may be giving up hundreds of years. And by the way, I'm so excited, I just can say that, like, about where the world is going. I know so many people turn pessimistic, and we always, because the media is always focusing on the negative stuff. But like, everything I see in our portfolio beyond that is fucking cool stuff, And I want to.
By the way, he won't go on the Autobahn because car accidents are one of the number
exactly.
one
Statistically,
my question would be like, where does that risk tolerance? Like, where is the barrier on that?
I'm always reassessing it. That's because, like, you could obviously say, if I stay at home and do nothing, that would be the best, because you can have a plane accident. So I do think, because I love life, it's not that I I'm not afraid of that stuff, but I just want to enjoy life and all the innovation which is coming, and in partly which I'm helping building. I want to enjoy it and want to be there when the real stuff comes.
When you think of what you eat from a diet standpoint, what do you follow a specific type of diet?
So what is the main things? The main thing is actually what you said, like intermittent fasting. So I haven't eaten anything today. So I'm doing 18 hours with 0 calorie intake, just water and black coffee, but no calorie intake. Which is, by the way, any form of fasting is great. That's just the fasting which works for me in sort of my daily rhythm. Like, other people do 5-day fasting and then eat normally. So I do like 16 to 18 hours, no calorie intake. Why? You said it's counterintuitive, but like your body goes into like a laundry mode, you could say it that way. Like, so if it's flushing out senescent cells, it's really rejuvenating. And it starts around about hour 14 that you go into that sort of state. So the longer actually you can be, if you could be, sometimes I make a full day without food or without anything. That is actually ideal. I try to not eat a lot of carbs. Maybe the healthy ones, lentils, whatever, but not the bad ones, carbs, pasta, blah, blah, blah. I actually take metformin. That is, I think, sort of from the medical side, the most we know potent.
You said metformin?
Metformin, which is actually a diabetes drug, but which seems to mimic fasting. And then there is a newer version, which actually is interesting, because I always have in psychedelics with some people that discussion about patents, like, is it allowed to patent psychedelic substances because it's God's given things? And I think patents are inherently important for drug development, which we unfortunately see with metformin, because metformin is a diabetes drug which is out of patent. It's super cheap. So there are great studies, but not FDA studies. So more like looking at people who take metformin, how they age, whatever, which suggests that metformin is incredibly healthy, but no pharma company is putting the money up to prove it in an FDA-like framework because they can't make money with it. So it would be great if metformin is in patent again, because people would then hopefully prove it. Like somebody did it, Novo Nordisk has a drug called Ozempic, which is also a diabetes drug. So it shows, by the way, that it seems to be that.
So when you take metformin, what does it do to you?
So it's kind of, in a non-medical way, it's mimicking fasting.
Got it.
Yeah, it's controlling your insulin spike, and that whole world of taking food, especially sugar or sugar-like foods, which makes your insulin spike, whatever, that seems to, over the course of our life, be one of the drivers for inflammation.